What's up, reefers? Welcome to Acro Corals. This is Alex Wilson, and this is my video log where you can learn from my mistakes. So come check it out. And so yeah, last time I was talking about how I had my original reef aquarium and I added all of these acroporas, 50 acroporas for $350, right? So that comes out to about like $5 a piece, really cheap. Actually, it was my second reef aquarium, and so yeah, I did that. I put them in there, and sure enough, it wasn't exactly the next. I think it was probably like the second day or so. But yeah, everything just completely died in there, and unfortunately, I had a huge I had a huge carpet anemone, and I had a bunch of other soft corals in there that all died, and maybe some of the fish as well. So definitely, I would say needless to say, I didn't buy another acropora for another 15 years or so until fairly recently. So I'm one definitely traumatized reefer here. So let's check out what happened to my newly acquired wild colony of acropora millipora Australian fun. So let's check it out. Alright, so here it is, and it's the second day or third day, still in here, still doing good, still got the good colors, fingers crossed. I was thinking everything was going to be completely dead, the whole dude bleached out, which could happen anytime. So really going to have to keep a close eye on this guy. And so yeah, I mean, this guy here is one of these Australian acroporas that are officially collected from the wild, where they were like chopped off right there, just from the original mother colony, and then it's further chopped down and further chopped down. So it just has a straight base right here. It doesn't have a base on it whatsoever. It's not attached to any type of tile, not even a rock or anything. So just the stem right there. And yeah, I mean, it has a bunch of live coral right there, and yeah, you just have to find a rock or a hole somewhere to put them in, and like at the aquarium store where I got him, this was at Extreme Corals, and so they just had them in a PVC. They just had PVC pipes, just putting a lot of these huge acropora or the other colonies in there like that temporarily. So, yeah, I just had to work with that. I tried to put them up a little as high as possible, to get as much light as possible. Speaking of which, I'm increasing the light in here, I'm bringing this Ecotech Radion down, 1 inch at a time. Of course, it has the Kessel arm on them, which I can do that. So, and, because ideally, the acropora definitely they want the higher par ranges, which just get them. They prefer, the light-loving acropora probably prefer the like twice as much light, somewhere around 600 par, and so definitely not doing that there. I'm gonna get my par meter out and check, but yeah, I mean, I have the one radion there, and that's why I have. Originally, that's why I have 5 on my main display there, and this one here, I had two radions for a while, XR15s, one on each side right there, but then I thought, well, I'll just remove one, being it seems like I only need the one. If I really want a higher par, I tested the par, and yeah, I get as high as I want it, just lowering it down. So, but with the higher light, though, I have noticed thus far that toadstool, of course, leather is closing up a little bit on the polyps and shrinking down, as well as my bird nest over here. Definitely, I can see there's polyps on them. Certainly, yeah, I moved them over here. Certainly a little bit more closed up. You can see them right here, instead of getting like more of a polyp extension, a little bit more of a closed polyps on them. So, thinking that this is from the increased lighting, so I gotta strike a balance here. Can't get too much just for the acroporas, and where everything else gets completely blasted out in here. So I have all these mushrooms. Speaking of which, I have these mushrooms over here. This is I call these the Iron Man, but these were, according to my fellow reefer over here, these are the Candy Crush Jawbreakers. And so yeah, Candy Crush Jawbreakers, and certainly an extremely bright orange mushroom, and they have some green spots that they say that they can develop you under the higher lighting intensities, but these I haven't seen any green on them whatsoever yet, and they can develop them. So technically this is the Orange Crush Jawbreaker, and it might be the same as just the Iron Man, but under a higher lighter intensity they might get a much sharper orange. Here's a shot of my Iron Man right here, so I don't know if they're the same or different. There's the blue spotted Discosoma Crazy and all his babies over here. I've got at least 4 babies he's dropped right there. This is a green one right there that I got. This is a Discosoma gold rim. So it's kind of like a gold rim green with stripes. And so it was on the frag plug right there, but of course it popped off in when it was shipped. So it fell down there for now, so hopefully it'll just attach to one of the crushed coral pieces and do okay. And that's what's real nice about having crushed coral in an aquarium like this, is that the corals, you know, if they fall down in there, they grow up naturally, and I've had all kinds of the red and orange mushrooms just fall absolutely everywhere, whether it's between the rock down there or in front, and they'll latch on to the crushed coral and go. So, you know, the same thing as with the birch nest and the acropora, that they will definitely latch on like that. And here's a shot of this Discosoma right there. This is with the spotted nebula. Spotted nebula Discosoma, and it's cool because it has kind of a purplish with the greener spots on it, but kind of a purple background on it. This one is the gold spotted, it's green Discosoma, as well as a classic, which was actually the hardest one to find for me of all these mushrooms, which is the classic green Rhodactis. But I finally found a nice flat one that's super green on them. So there he is, probably ready to be fed and everything ready. Then I also have these hammers, and I ordered another hammer as well, a spotted one. This one, well, splattered, green and purple splatter. This one here though is like a golden, it's just like a brown with golden tips on them, and then the purple tip with the green stems on them. So looking really nice right there in the corner, and the pulsing xenia right here, pulsing away. There it is. So let's check out the other acropora. There he is. And so far so good. Good polycension, good color on them, and so see how it goes. So I'm gonna increase the light on them a little bit, and yeah, so let's come check out the main display. What's up, you little thing? Where are you at? There you are. What's up, you little thing? He's over here, and he's bailing over there. He doesn't want anything to do with the camera right now. But here it is. This is a shot of the main display today. And oh yeah, speaking of the gonioporas right here, I did order. I found a glitter goniopora worldwide coral, so I just had to get it. So hopefully it's gonna live. Glitter goniopora, fresh in from Australia. So looking forward to having some glitter goniopora if it doesn't die on me. And that's the thing, you know, I didn't really want that much goniopora. I wasn't planning on getting any more, at least recently, because they're certainly extremely sensitive, and definitely seem to be, to me, one of the more sensitive corals. You know, they certainly just, you can't feed them, you know, and you know, and they're really, you know, if they're not happy whatsoever, they definitely just will deteriorate and not open. It's hard for them, where if they're they'll get disturbed, you know, just will not open, you know, and then they're so definitely to me it seems to be one of the more sensitive of the corals that I've dealt with, where I've had them and they look like they're doing pretty good, and then I just decide to move them, you know, from one spot and the other in the same aquarium, and they have a complete, you know, they go complete back to shock therapy and shut down for a while. I have these green ones right here, still I don't know if they're going to die or recover from the toxic dinoflagellate nightmare. Alright, there they are. I moved these brains over here. The goniopora right there towards the front. Looking kind of crazy. Got to the left, I got the dragon. So I'm not sure if this guy's getting too much light or not. It's starting to look a little bit lighter to me. We'll have to see. I don't know if I should move him down to the sump, but I really want to leave him right here. So there he is. And I got a couple inches just in case, even though these guys are goniopora, they're pretty different looking, most likely sting each other. So same thing with this. This is my green splatter goniopora as well. Give them little spaces. And this is another goniopora. I can't remember the exact name. But there they are. Here's my salmon coral garden. And it's doing pretty good. And I moved this camo fabula right here. And right next to the other Fishless, looking pretty crazy up against the glass, and I have him just like 1 or 2 inches, 1.5 inches right there from the glass, just enough, more like an inch, just enough to get my magnet cleaner around them. Same thing with these Christmas tree worm rocks and the clams right here. And this one in the middle has turned itself around and he's all over here smashing into the other one. So get it. Check it out from the top down. There he is. He's overlapping with the other one. So there's a shot of him. You know, and that's the maxima. The one's a acropora right there. And definitely they can accommodate themselves. I'm going to turn them around now in a second. But they flip themselves around and play bumper clams. So here's a shot of them and how close I have this stuff to the glass right here. Just 1 inch of room straight across right there. And here's a top down shot. See what else we've got over here. Right, yellow tank. Let's get yellow tank. What's going on? Where are you at? Where are you at? There you are. See, he's like definitely on the aggressive side. This one yellow tang. Well, he's in here with the mandarins. I don't know if they count as actual fish for this yellow tang. So definitely on the aggressive side, this yellow tang. But there's the hammer right there. Mushrooms. I got coralline algae absolutely plating like crazy. Check it out off of this rock right there. Here's that crazy clam that opened up and died on me. It completely died with the crazy a mystery clam. So I'm going to put a coral. It's a good spot to put a coral right there and have it grow up on top of it. Not sure what acropora, what have you there. And yeah, elegance. And yeah, so that's it, guys. This is definitely want to see what's going on with the nutrients on these guys. It's and so this one I have the yellow tang, and right now I'm not feeding absolutely no revoids, no dehydrated chicken manure, and just feeding the yellow tang. And speaking of which, you know, there's a bunch of hair algae growing in the sump, well, a little bit, you know, around my protein skimmer. Certainly just grabbed the hair algae and stuck it up here in his fish bowl, and yep, sure enough, the yellow tang eats it quite contently right out of the straight fish bowl hair algae. And just looks like, you know, even has a bunch of red slime on it too. It just kind of falls off. Put it in the fish bowl. Yellow tang seems to take care of it all. Right, dude, you're over here eating. I also have my other yellow tang for sale still. That's, oh, I got the light off down now. You're gonna see him. Anyway, he's still for sale though on eBay. acropora corals. And so one thing I want to mention though is that I'm going with you know, this one over here is a fishless aquarium. That's right, you know, fishless, because this is the whole point. Well, at least 50% of the point of having the coral quarantine system. And so, you know, so it's interesting that I have the nitrates and phosphates definitely, and you know, they have. They're a little bit on the high side right now, so definitely is interesting to see. But I have zero algae growth right now, zero diatoms. I think even the coralline algae is barely growing at a real slow pace. So I'm just gonna go with that and see how well the corals do like this, whether they're gonna eventually lighten up and from the lower nutrients. So that's what I'm thinking, you know. And I want to do, the next step would be to go ahead and start feeding with some reef roids, you know, and start the cycle again right there and see how that does little by little. And I'm gonna start with that, but I'm also curious to see what it's gonna be like switching back to some dehydrated chicken manure. That's right, I said dehydrated chicken manure. I must be one crazy reefer over here adding chicken manure to my reef aquariums. And yeah, I mean, but what's interesting is that, you know, in theory, if you want to increase your nutrients, you know, you can add the liquid nitrate and liquid phosphate, but it seems like an in-between. And then on the other hand, you can add just your straight food like your reef roids, but it seems like an in-between of the two would be to add just your straight chicken manure, you know, because it's the same as your fish waste, that it goes in there, you know, and then kind of an in-between the two, because it breaks down, you know, and it might even be closer to just adding the straight nitrogen and phosphate. I'm not sure, because you know, that being the case, you know, whether the chicken manure adds a whole bunch of different dissolved organics, same as your fish manure. So yeah, so it seems like just adding the straight food would be a much harsher way of cycling and adding more the dissolved organics, more ammonia perhaps, you know, that yeah, it could be a good thing. So, you know, but to see the differences, and this is fun because this is, you know, aquarium is fishless, and I would be constantly being able to test and see what's going on and how well the corals react to that. Oh yeah, by the way, I've got this one over here. This one is the stellar, pink stellar mushroom. Oh, interstellar. Pink interstellar mushrooms. There they are. Yep, and they're pretty good. Looks a little bit orange on that one, but it's definitely a pink. It's supposed to be pink interstellar mushroom. So yep, really good looking mushrooms there. Alright guys, well I guess that's it. Quick, oh yeah, one more thing over here. I have this definitely noticed the acroporas over here certainly getting a little bit of, you know, of color on them. Their green is starting to come back, which is a really good sign. You know, they've darkened up like nicely from being a little too light. They certainly have been a nice dark color, such as this fireworks right there. But over here down to the left right there, that one is the rainbow. So they got the rainbow acropora right there, and it was just like it used to have different colors on them, but it retained the green tips on them the whole time. And so yeah, you know, definitely now it has the whole side of them turned green from ever since I've put them in this aquarium. It's probably been a couple weeks. So yeah, it's a good sign. Hopefully the other acroporas will follow suit on there. That's a green goniopora, definitely has some really good polyp extension on them. And so hopefully he's going to be doing good. Here's the rainbow. And then that's the Frankenberry. And then to the left right there's the Walt Disney. Good color extension, good pulp extension on them, looking good. And then I have my home wrecker over here. And yeah, same thing. Looking pretty good. So hopefully they're going to start taking off a little bit. Right, Yellow Tang? Alright guys, I guess that's it. I better get out of here. You got to get going. But happy reefing. And I'll check you on the next one. Bye.